Hidden in the world's most remote corners, where modern civilization hasn't reached, there are tribes that would rather kill you than welcome you. These aren't the friendly natives you see in tourism ads. These are groups so dangerous, even governments warn people to stay away. From headhunters who still collect skulls to tribes that have never seen a phone or computer, today we're counting down the 15 most dangerous tribes that still exist in 2024. Some of them might seem straight out of a horror movie, but trust me, they're real, and they're not exactly rolling out the welcome mat for visitors. Number 15. The Korowai tribe. Let's start our countdown with a tribe that lives in tree houses, not the cute backyard kind, but massive structures built 140 feet high in the jungles of Papua New Guinea. The Korowai tribe didn't even know other humans existed until the 1970s, and some say they were cannibals right up until the 1980s. Here's the crazy part. Some groups of Korowai still live so deep in the jungle that they've never made contact with the outside world. They're known for their brutal warrior culture, and according to local stories, they still practice witch hunting. When they suspect someone of being a kakwa, witch, the accused person faces execution, and traditionally, the body would be consumed by the tribe. While most Korowai have moved away from these practices, the most isolated groups remain extremely dangerous to outsiders, attacking anyone who enters their territory without warning. Even today, scientists and photographers need special government permits and armed escorts to visit known Korowai settlements. Number 14. The Sentinelese. Remember that missionary who tried to convert a remote tribe in 2018? Well, he chose the wrong tribe. The Sentinelese of North Sentinel Island are probably the most isolated people on Earth, and they want to keep it that way. These islanders shoot arrows first and don't bother asking questions later. They've attacked helicopters with spears, killed fishermen who drifted too close to their shore, and even survived the 2004 tsunami without any help. Then shot arrows at the rescue helicopters that came to check on them. What makes them extra dangerous isn't just their aggression, it's their total isolation. Their immune systems have never been exposed to common diseases, which means any contact with outsiders could literally wipe out their entire tribe. That's why the Indian government has made it illegal to go within 5 miles of their island. Even taking pictures from a boat is banned. Think they're living in the Stone Age? Well, they're doing it by choice, and they'll fight to keep it that way. Number 13. The Fayu tribe. Deep in the rainforests of Indonesia, there's a tribe so violent that even their own origin story is about murder. The Fayu are split into 4 groups that have been killing each other for generations. When anthropologist Sabine Kugler lived among them as a child, she witnessed how conflicts were settled with spears and axes. No courts, no lawyers, just immediate and brutal justice. What makes the Fayu especially dangerous is their concept of revenge. If someone from another group hurts or kills a family member, they believe they must take a life in return. It doesn't even have to be the person responsible. Any member of that group will do. This eye for an eye mentality has created endless cycles of violence that continue to this day. Despite attempts by the Indonesian government to pacify them, the Fayu remain one of the most dangerous tribes to encounter, especially since you might be walking into a revenge killing without even knowing it. Number 12. The AWA people. Ever heard of a tribe so dangerous that Brazil had to create a special armed force just to protect them? Meet the AWA, sometimes called the most threatened tribe on Earth. But here's the twist. They're not just dangerous to outsiders, they're dangerous to anyone who threatens their forest. In 2014, when illegal loggers entered their territory, several disappeared without a trace. The AWA are master hunters, who can shoot arrows with deadly accuracy in complete darkness. What makes them particularly lethal is their intimate knowledge of the Amazon rainforest. They use over 150 different plant poisons to tip their arrows, and they're experts at setting deadly traps that even experienced jungle guides can't spot. Their territory is now strictly off limits, but every year, several illegal gold miners and loggers learn the hard way why you shouldn't mess with the AWA. Number 11. The Yanomami warriors. Deep in the Amazon, straddling the border between Brazil and Venezuela, lives one of the most aggressive tribal societies ever studied. The Yanomami are famous for their Feast of Death, a ceremony where they mix the ashes of their dead relatives with banana juice and drink it. But that's not what makes them dangerous. These warriors start training for combat as young as 5 years old, and their culture values fierce fighting ability above all else. Young men can't even marry until they've proven themselves in battle. What's terrifying about the Yanomami is their chest-pounding duels that often turn deadly. They'll challenge each other to take turns hitting each other in the chest as hard as possible until someone falls, and sometimes these fights escalate into all-out warfare between villages. In 2018, a group of miners who ignored warnings about entering Yanomami territory disappeared. When authorities investigated, they found signs of a conflict, but no bodies. The Yanomami had erased all traces of what happened. Number 10. The Huaorani tribe. The Huaorani of Ecuador have earned a reputation that makes even hardened explorers think twice. Known as the people of the spears, they became famous in 1956 when they killed 5 American missionaries who tried to make contact. But here's what most people don't know. They didn't just kill them, they used their tools, and later explained they thought the airplane the missionaries arrived in was some kind of evil spirit. The Huaorani are so skilled at hunting that they can hit a moving target with a 9-foot blowgun at over 100 feet away. Their poison darts are so potent that they can kill a full-grown adult in minutes. What makes them especially dangerous today is their fight against oil companies. Some Huaorani groups have adapted to modern life, but others, known as the Tagayari and Taramanana, remain in voluntary isolation. These groups view any intrusion into their territory as an act of war, and they've been known to launch raids on oil facilities, leaving no survivors. The Ecuadorian government has declared their territory off-limits, but that hasn't stopped all confrontations. In 2013, a group of Huaorani warriors attacked an illegal logging camp, and to this day, no one knows exactly what happened to the loggers. Number 9. The Dani tribe. In the highlands of Papua New Guinea, there's a tribe that will cut off their own fingers when a family member dies. But that's not what makes them dangerous. The Dani tribe was discovered in 1938, and they shocked the world with their brutal warfare tactics. Unlike other tribes that fight for resources or territory, the Dani fight to maintain what they call the balance of blood. They believe that for every death in their tribe, someone from another group must die. What makes them particularly dangerous is their tradition of mummifying their warriors. When a great warrior dies, they smoke his body over a fire for months until it's perfectly preserved. These mummies aren't just decorations, they're reminders of enemies who need to be avenged. In 2019, when logging companies tried to enter their territory, several workers vanished. Local authorities found nothing except a new smoke hut being prepared. The Dani's expertise with poison darts and their ability to move silently through dense jungle make them nearly impossible to track or catch. Number 8. The Mercy tribe. If you think lip fillers are extreme, wait until you hear about the Mercy of Ethiopia. Their women wear massive clay plates in their lips, but it's the men you really need to worry about. These warriors are known for their donga stick fighting, which isn't some tourist show, it's a fight to the death. What makes the Mercy especially dangerous is their tradition of proving manhood through violence. Young men must kill an enemy from another tribe to earn their scars, ritual markings that show they're ready for marriage. They're one of the few tribes still practicing this tradition in 2024. Here's the scary part. They've adapted modern weapons into their culture. They've learned to modify AK-47s to work with their traditional poisons. In 2020, when a group of wildlife photographers ignored local warnings and entered Mercy territory, only their cameras were found. The tribe had left them displayed on poles as a warning to others. Number 7. The Suri people. Living in the borderlands between Ethiopia and South Sudan, the Suri tribe might look peaceful with their artistic body paint and flower decorations. Don't be fooled, they're considered one of Africa's most dangerous tribal groups. The Suri are cattle herders, but their real expertise is in military strategy. They train their children from age 7 to fight and shoot with deadly accuracy. What makes them particularly lethal is their use of psychological warfare. Before attacking, they paint their bodies with terrifying designs using a mix of clay and human blood. They believe this makes them invisible to their enemies, and considering their success rate in tribal conflicts, maybe they're onto something. In 2021, they made headlines when they ambushed a group of militiamen who had been harassing their people. The ambush was so well planned that not a single Suri warrior was injured, while the entire militia group was wiped out. The Ethiopian government has tried to restrict their access to modern weapons, but the Suri are masters at crafting their own arms, including modifications to make their traditional weapons even more deadly. Number 6. The Highland Tribes of New Guinea. High in the mountains of New Guinea, where the clouds meet the jungle, lives a collection of tribes so dangerous that even other tribal groups won't go near them. The Highland tribes weren't discovered until 1930 when Australian gold prospectors stumbled into their territory. What they found was straight out of a nightmare. Villages decorated with the skulls of their enemies, and warriors wearing necklaces made from human finger bones. What makes these tribes particularly dangerous is their belief in sanguma, a form of sorcery that they claim gives them superhuman hunting abilities. They use a complex mix of plant toxins that can paralyze victims without killing them. In 2022, when researchers tried to document their hunting practices, 2 members of the expedition disappeared. The tribes later sent back their equipment with a clear message carved into it. The forest sees everything. Even the Papua New Guinea military avoids certain highland areas, especially during traditional warfare seasons. Number 5. The Konyak headhunters. In the mountains between India and Myanmar, you'll find the Konyak tribe, known as the last of the true headhunters. Until the 1960s, young men of the tribe had to bring back an enemy's head before they could get their facial tattoos, a sign of manhood. Today, you can still find elderly Konyak warriors with these tattoos, proud reminders of their headhunting past. But here's what makes them truly dangerous. They never officially gave up headhunting, they just agreed to pause it. The Konyak are master blacksmiths who can craft guns that rival modern weapons, and they've preserved all their ancient hunting techniques. Their territory is filled with hidden traps that can impale an adult or send them plummeting into spike-filled pits. In 2019, illegal loggers entered their land. Their equipment was found burned, but the loggers themselves were never seen again. The tribe's only comment was, "The forest took them." Number 4. The Waorani people. The Waorani of Ecuador might be small in number, but they're considered one of the most lethal tribal groups in South America. These master hunters can hear a human approach from over a mile away and can identify any animal just by smelling its tracks. What makes them especially dangerous is their kill first, ask questions never policy toward outsiders. They believe that all deaths are caused by enemy witchcraft, meaning they're constantly seeking revenge. Their spears are over 8 feet long, made from a type of palm wood that's harder than steel. They're so skilled at stealth warfare that even modern military experts have studied their techniques. In 2023, when drug traffickers tried to set up a route through their territory, the Waorani response was swift and terrifying. The traffickers' boats were found perfectly intact, but empty. No signs of struggle, no bodies, just silence. The Waorani have a saying, "The jungle knows how to keep secrets." Number 3. The Jarawa tribe. On India's Andaman Islands lives a tribe so mysterious that even their name is a riddle. The Jarawa call themselves Ang, meaning human, while everyone else is considered an enemy. Unlike other tribes who've slowly opened up to the modern world, the Jarawa have become more aggressive in recent years. They control a massive territory of 300 square miles, and they've perfected the art of silent killing. Their bows are so powerful they can pierce metal, and their knowledge of toxins is unmatched. What makes them especially dangerous today is their adaptation to modern threats. They've learned to sabotage vehicles, disable surveillance cameras, and set up elaborate ambushes. In late 2023, when poachers entered their reserve at night using night vision equipment, the Jarawa turned the tables. The poachers' own technology was used against them. Their bodies were never found, but their equipment was arranged in a pattern that local experts say was a warning symbol. The Indian government has since doubled the restricted zone around Jarawa territory, admitting that even their best-trained police forces can't match the tribe's jungle warfare skills. Number 2. The Mashco Piro tribe. Deep in the Amazon rainforest lives a tribe so dangerous that Peru had to create an emergency alert system just for them, the Mashco Piro. They've lived in voluntary isolation for centuries, But climate change and illegal logging have forced them into increasingly violent contact with the outside world. These warriors can shoot arrows with deadly accuracy from over 300 feet away. But what makes them truly terrifying is their absolute commitment to defending their isolation. They don't just fight, they wage psychological warfare. They leave elaborate displays of broken equipment, arranged in symbolic patterns that anthropologists are still trying to decode. Their most chilling tactic? They never leave evidence of what happens to their victims. In 2024, when a group of filmmakers tried to document them from what they thought was a safe distance, the entire team vanished. 3 weeks later, their high-tech cameras were found arranged in a perfect circle at the edge of Mashko Piro territory, each lens carefully painted with red clay, a message that needs no translation. Number 1. The Tagairi Taromenane. At the top of our list are the mysterious Tagairi Taromenane of Ecuador, considered by experts to be the most dangerous isolated tribe on Earth. These warriors are actually two tribes that merged after warfare with oil companies decimated their numbers, combining their lethal skills and ancient knowledge. They're masters of what anthropologists call aggressive isolation. They don't just avoid contact, they actively hunt anyone who enters their territory. What makes them the most dangerous tribe in the world isn't just their skill with weapons or their deadly poisons, it's their intelligence and adaptability. They study their enemies before striking, learning their patterns and technologies. They've been known to disable electrical equipment from a distance, leading some experts to believe they've learned to use electromagnetic disruption techniques from observing oil company equipment. Their territory is called the Zone of Death by locals, and even military helicopters won't fly over it after several unexplained equipment failures. In early 2024, when illegal miners tried to enter their land using drones for surveillance, the tribe not only destroyed the drones, but used the pieces to create warning signals that could be seen from satellite imagery. The Ecuadorian government now maintains a no-contact zone larger than Delaware around their territory, admitting that modern technology is no match for their centuries of jungle warfare expertise.